Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. No, it's too dangerous. To protect me from those dangers. No! What? Why? Look at me. I almost attacked you for God's sake. I'm a guard who cannot even protect the one person he has sworn his life and soul to keeping safe. You've already been hurt so many times because of me. But here, if you stay here, I know that you will be safe. No one knows who you are out here. No one knows you were even here. Not even those assassins can get to you here. I made a promise to get you back home safely, and I'll do whatever it takes. And the people back in Havana, when they learn that I did nothing? Kashiro will see to make sure that you remain on the throne. Leandros turned his back to you. You didn't need to see his face to know that he was ashamed to even have said that. So I'll be a king held up on a throne of lies and corpses. You're being even more selfish than me. I don't want to see you get hurt either, you know. I haven't told you this yet, but I had a dream. Leandros' ears perked backwards in curiosity, but he still remained steadfast in keeping his back to you. I wasn't sure what to make of it at the time, but after learning of what is going on in Renero, I've had a really bad feeling about things. The image of the dream played out once again in your head. It started with me waking up in the middle of the woods. I had no idea where I was or where I should go, but I chose a direction and went with it. I traveled through the night until I stopped at the edge of a camp. It was filled with beastmen of all shapes and sizes, and they all were wearing armor and had plenty of weapons to spare, like they were going to war or something. You gave yourself a bit of time to think. Leandros was about to speak, but he knew better than to interrupt you during story time. The strangest part was the banners spread around the entire camp. None of them resembled Brahm or Nor-Yasan territories. I could only guess that they belonged to Farharan. I wasn't sure what would happen if I entered, if I would be killed or captured, but I went in anyway, hoping to find someone who could help me. After avoiding several beastmen, which I wasn't even sure they saw me anyway, I spotted you in the center of the camp. Me? You nodded. You were there with another beastman, a strange-colored tiger. What do you mean by strange? His fur was pale and smoky with a bit of blue tinge. A smoky, blue-colored tiger? It was a strange sight. I've never seen anything quite like it before. The two of you head into the tent I followed after. When I entered, the two of you were talking, but I couldn't understand a word that you were saying. There was a table in the center of the room and a map of Torver, or rather like if Torver was turned inside out. But I did recognize a few of the places on the map and what their equivalent would have been like on a real map. And the camp, from what I guessed, was nearby Renero, maybe just under 100 miles away, but I couldn't be sure. Jake, you're not just saying this, right? To get me to stay. Even if I were, I know you wouldn't anyway. For the most part, you ignored me when I called you, so I stepped around to get your attention by tapping you on the shoulder. You and the tiger stopped what you were doing and looked at me, surprised why I was there. The tiger, though, he was filled with so much animosity, especially towards me, all because I was a human. As though the very act of being human was the greatest sin one could commit. Never have I seen such hostility and loathing, especially from someone I never met before. Did you catch his name? I believe he said it was Wrath, or that's what you called him. Wrath. Is that someone you know? It's probably just a coincidence. I've been thinking a lot of the things that have coincidences as of late, but with how much crazy shit I've been through in these past few weeks, I don't know anymore. The two of you seem to know each other, or that's the feeling that I got. But then your heart raced and your breath became ragged. You're almost too afraid to say what happened next. Jake, what happened next? Leandros was completely invested now, his eyes wide and ears perked. You swallowed hard. Took a lot of courage to admit to something like this. And this was the icing on the cake. You fought Wrath. But he played dirty and tried to go after me. You threw yourself in front of his blade and were killed, all to save me. But why would he do that? I don't know. He kept spouting stuff like humans would pay and that it was my fault that you died. But then he changed, seemed to become something different. A dark aura wrapped around him like some kind of cocoon, changing him into something vile. And then he came after me. What did you mean by changed? He became a monster. I'm not really sure how else to put it. It was like something purely out of a nightmare, though I suppose I was in one. But I saw something else in the back of the castle. All those assassins. They were cloaked in that same dark mist, yet no one else seemed to notice it. I don't want to believe there was a connection between the two, but based on everything that I've witnessed and that I've heard, I just can't deny that there is something far more foul than we ever imagined afoot. I must sound crazy. I already have begun to question my own sanity. I wonder if I'll be able to distinguish reality from my own imagination anymore. Jake. Was there anything else you saw in the dream? No. I woke up immediately after I found out that I was aboard the ship. Strange. Normally I'm not one to be persuaded by cheap magic tricks and sleight of hands, but this dream wasn't like anything I've had before. The night was cold, the fires in the camp were warm, the sound so crisp and clear, the pain that I felt. It was just like what happened when I bathed in the pool of light back at the castle during the ablution. The High Priest said it wasn't just a dream, that it was a vision, something that could come true. I don't know if it will happen, but I'm scared. What if it comes true? Because I go with you. Then would it be because of me? But what if it's a sign? I'm supposed to go. Something that I have to face for myself. Something that only I can stop. Either way, I just feel like I can't leave you. Like all this revolves around what I do. Second meal. Coffee time. Leandros? Sorry, I'm just not sure how we should take this. On one hand, it just sounds like a bad dream. It's not how the High Priest put it. Yes, on the other hand, if the High Priest says it's something else, I'm not really sure what to make of this. But to me, it sounds like a warning. A warning? Dreams have long been seen as a way to read into the future, and you having one so vivid such as that must be the gods telling you to stay safe. It just sounds like a different way to interpret it. But from the looks of it, it sounds like you being there causes this to happen. You believe it then? I'm not sure, but you know that I always want what's best for you, right? If staying here means that you will be safe, then it sounds like that is what you should do, regardless of whatever dreams you have. You didn't want to admit it, but Leandros was partially right. If you hadn't shown up in that dream, then maybe nothing would have happened to you, or maybe happened to you, or would happen to you if it was some kind of premonition. Still, it worried that Leandros was there. What could he have been talking about with that tiger? Jake, what do you say we get to bed? It's already very late, to be honest. I've been feeling a little lightheaded. We could talk more about this in the morning. For now, I think we just need a bit of rest. Leandros started to work on the makeshift bed, pushing around the hay so that it was distributed evenly. It looks like it might be a cold night. There should be enough room for the both of us, though. He stared at the bed, then back at him. Things were already awkward enough between the two of you, and he wanted you to sleep with him? It didn't seem that bad to you, but right now you felt that a bit of distance is what you needed. You go on ahead. I'm not even sure that I could get any sleep. Listen, Jake. I know what happened between us is still causing some lingering feelings. And you should understand why it's a bad time to let me sleep with you. I don't care about that. No, but right now it might be better for us to sleep apart. Jake, do you hate me? No, but Then nothing has changed between us. You may have admitted your feelings for me, but you were still the same Jake I always knew. And you don't see this as a tease. Sleeping together with you half naked? I've already come to terms with it, Jake. I'll see this as nothing more than when we used to sleep together when you were younger. Leandros turned his back to you and pushed himself to the edge of the bed to make more room. It took you a moment to still your resolve, but eventually you joined Leandros, laying down with your back also to him. You swiveled around trying to get comfortable, as you could in bed, pushing around the hay so that adjusted to your body shape. After finally getting comfortable, you stared at the last burning embers of the fire as the room began to grow dark. You started to shut your eyes and hoped that tomorrow would come soon so you could put this day behind you. Jake, I really do hope you'll forgive me for everything I've done. What the fuck does that mean? Leandros, what did you do? Second now. No. Stop! Stay away! You awoke, scared, shaking and sweating, 1,000 thoughts racing in your head. You tried to calm your breathing, to steady your pulse, but there was a creeping sense of dread that kept you on edge. It had been so long since you last had an episode like this, and the gripping fear that came along with it. During your adolescence, your father had sent a seemingly endless stream of doctors to your room from all across Torvera to treat you. They all came to the same conclusion, that your strange condition was just night terrors, and that with time you would soon grow out of it. Of course, eventually you did years later, but it was rough, but it was tough, especially for your father having to raise you alone with your mother having left the kingdom just months prior. Maybe it was that undue stress that eventually caused your father to get up and grow distant from you. His hair certainly grayed and his wrinkles deepened all within the first year that you suffered from these abnormalities. You tried to focus on your breathing once more, to calm your heart and jittery fingers. It was all just a dream, you told yourself. Just a dream? You had nearly forgotten who shared the bed with you. You must have woken him up, though you didn't recall speaking aloud. Yeah, I think it might have been a night terror, but I thought I was over them. Well, I bet I know something that will cheer you up. Oh! Whoa! Oh, hello there. Alright, not a nightmare then. Whew! Leandros rustled around in bed, eventually crawling on all fours on top of you. He stared down at you with lustful, hungry eyes. If you didn't know any better, he looked like a lion stalking his prey. And from your point of view, you were on the menu. Leon? He licked his lips and swung his hips, causing your eyes to travel down his body. You realized that he was naked, and your eyes went wide as you caught something long dangling down between his legs. He chuckled disturbingly. Feeling better already? Leon? The more he gyrated his body, the more his junk swung from side to side, slapping against his thighs. Drool pulled out the side of your mouth, and you quickly closed it before you embarrassed yourself, but Leandros was the one here acting shamelessly. It wasn't until he sat down, pressing his weight onto your abdomen, straddling you between his legs, that you noticed you too were also sleeping commando. He brought your attention back down to where it mattered the most, his pulsing thingy laying limply on your chest. It was almost impossible to believe that it wasn't even hard as it started to throb and grow. As he lifted it up with one hand, a thin string of, juice wobbled weakly before it broke apart. Oh my! In just seconds, his pride was at full mast. He playfully stroked and tugged at it, hiding it from view. Once he let go, you had to hold back the urge to grab at it yourself. If only he was closer. If only he would just get a bit closer. No. As mesmerized as you were, there was something strange going on here. The haze that covered your eyes began to fade. It's a trap! You couldn't deny that you wanted him to continue, but this didn't seem right. This wasn't him. This must have been another dream. If this were really a dream, would I honestly look this good? He lifted his arms and flexed for you, giving you a front row seat to his show. He was in full control of his body, and he wasn't afraid to show off just for you. His muscles obeyed every one of his commands, bulging, extending, softening, bouncing, hardening as he saw fit. Once more you were captivated, enraptured by his alluring motions. Your eyelids were pulled wide open, taking in every single swing of his hips, sway of his hair, and bounce of his member. And the smell was beyond intoxicating. The sweat that dripped down from his body nearly sizzled against your flesh. The two of you together were more stoked than any fire, hotter than the sun. Breathing through your nose became more and more labored with the quickening of your heart. The moment you opened your mouth, steam expelled forth like a hot kettle. You're beginning to feel unfulfilled with just looking at the goods. All this teasing was driving you insane. You wanted more. Another grin spread across his lips as one of his eyebrows rose up. He leaned forward slightly and gripped your hand in his. No! Whoa. Before you knew it, your hands were pressed tightly against his chest, although almost as though he had read your mind. If you wanted to pull away, you couldn't as he started to give you a tour of his body. You grabbed tightly onto tufts of fur and soft muscle as your fingers slid over his hard nipples. You couldn't resist teasing them with a soft pinch. He moved his hips in a rocking motion, forward and back, his ass grinding on top. Yep. I can't do this. Okay. You grabbed your wish and shoved them back down to your sides, leaving you with nothing but a fistful of straw. Perhaps you're not ready for that yet. I am, you blurted out without thinking. Leandros chuckled again with a far more devious smile than before. But this is just a dream. No, it's not. He placed a hand on your chest as he leaned in closer. His thick lips drew near, but just as they were about to meet, he turned his head to the side and brought his mouth next to your ear. He nibbled on it softly and you moaned as your body shuddered in pleasure. It's just a dream. What? It's just a dream. Leandros rose back up and playfully circled one of his fingers around your chest. Slowly, he started to push in deeper and deeper, his gentle caress beginning to hurt. It's just a dream. He put in more pressure and his nail began to protrude. Leon, that hurts! Your clothes stretched and ripped, and finally his nail broke skin. Blood streamed out of the wound and you screamed in pain. Leon! It's just a dream. Despite your despair, he remained calm. The light in his eyes faded to black, and a thin red glow was all you could see. He stopped his circling and brought out 2 more fingers before digging his claws deep into your chest. The pain was almost unbearable. You could hardly even scream. Your body convulsed, though you couldn't move to save your life. Stop! It was getting harder to speak as he slowly sunk his fingers in further. It's only a dream. Your head wouldn't turn and you couldn't shut your eyes. His hands were already wrist deep into your chest. The tip of his claws scratched against your heart as his fingers started to grip around it. Leandros' grin spread from ear to ear. His teeth grew out long and sharp. Leon! He choked out one final response, and he knew he had your heart in the palm of his hand. It's just a dream! Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. I've got a lot of editing to do on this video. But yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty? I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!